Anyway, I'm so glad to be here with everyone. And today I wanted to talk about the web of connection. And but first I want to say there's something I love about gathering in this way across distance, each of us in our own little worlds, yet somehow here together. That is already connection. That is already the thing we're going to talk about. But before we talk about anything, I'd like to do something together. I'd like us to feel something. Um, so let's feel our way into this morning. If you're willing, let's be right here, right now, in the body. Close your eyes if that feels okay, or soften your gaze downward. Take one slow breath in and let it go. Don't perform it, just let it happen. Now bring your attention to your chest, not to analyze it, just to notice it. What's there? Warmth? Tightness? A kind of opening? Just notice without needing it to be anything in particular. And now, gently bring your mind to someone you love. A person, it can be an animal. Maybe someone right there in your home this morning. Maybe somebody far away. Maybe somebody no longer here. Let them come to you. Don't force it. Just let them arrive. Notice what happens in your body when they arrive. Something may soften, something may ache. There may be a smile you didn't plan or a sting behind the eyes. Every bit of it belongs. What you just felt, that whole living, complicated, tender thing, that's what we're here to explore this morning. That is connection. And I invite you to come back to me. So connection has a lot of faces. When I sit down with what connection is, I find it's more like a whole galaxy of experiences. There's the connection between two people. They could have known each other for a long time. And that silence between them can be comfortable and easy. Then there's the sudden, startling connection with a stranger. You're at Publix and a conversation goes somewhere unexpected, and then it's gone. There's connections with animals, which I think is one of the purest forms we know. No agenda, no performance, just presence meeting presence. There's no connection. There's also a connection with place. The particular way a certain landscape or a certain room holds us, or like when I think about the town I grew up in, it's not like nostalgia. It's more like a feeling of belonging. Place can hold us similar to the way a person can. There's also connection with practice. with sitting, with playing music, with doing creative work. That feeling of being taken somewhere beyond the ordinary self. And there's the connection with something we can't quite name, the vastness, the sacred, the sense that this life is something larger than we can actually see. And then there is perhaps the most important and the most overlooked connection with yourself. The ability to feel what you feel, to know what you're feeling, to know what you need, to be at home in your own interior. Without that one, all the others are filtered through glass. What all these forms share is this. They remind us we're not alone. We are part of something. We matter to something beyond ourselves. As a therapist, I always like to think about what the brain is doing. How does the brain affect these things? And what I find really cool is when your brain is at rest, not solving problems, not focused on a task, just kind of sitting quietly the way you are right now. The network that lights up in your brain is called the default mode network. Scientists used to think that the brain was doing nothing, but it's not doing nothing. It's thinking about people, about relationships, about how we are held in the minds of others, about belonging. The resting brain is a social brain. Connection isn't something we pursue on top of living. It is what the mind returns to again and again. At the moment, everything else falls away. And the body knows this too, not just the brain. There's a nerve that runs from your brain all the way down through your heart, lungs, every major organ, and that's the vagus nerve. And it's literally the biological pathway of safety and belonging. When we are in the presence of someone we trust, when we hear a warm voice, feel a kind hand, meet someone's eyes and feel genuinely received, that nerve activates and the entire system shifts. The heart slows, the breath deepens, the low hum of vigilance that some of us have humming in the background can go quiet. We don't just feel safer, we are physiologically different. Our nervous systems literally co-regulate. We help each other be okay at a level far below conscious thought. We are co-regulating. Our cortisol in this space, our stress hormone even lowers. And perhaps the most helpful thing of all, those neural patterns change. The brain is not fixed, it's plastic. It's like everything else, changes all the time. Always learning, always rewiring in response to what we experience. Which means, fortunately, that new experiences of genuine connection, of real safety, of being truly seen, those experiences can slowly rewrite old stories, old wounds, old expectations that love will hurt or that we are fundamentally alone. In my practice, I see a lot of people who suffer with this, which is part of the reason why I wanted to do this Dharma Talk today. Harvard did a study of adult development, and they spent over 80 years following people's lives, which is an impressive study. And they asked people, what makes life good? What keeps people healthy and happy into old age? And the answer is not wealth or fame or achievement. It was the quality of their relationships, the warmth of their connections. People who were most satisfied with their relationships at 50 or the healthiest at 80. Connection is not a luxury, it is medicine. And when that web of connection trembles and holds, let's talk about that a little bit. Another reason I wanted to do this Dharma talk is because the past several months, my father's health has been declining rapidly, and he has an Alzheimer's diagnosis, and that's progressing really rapidly. And a couple of my closest friends received diagnoses, some serious diagnoses. And with all of this going on, I noticed something arriving in me, not just grief, although grief is there, but a new tenderness, a sharpened awareness of how precious those people are. The body knows about love long before the mind catches up. When connection shifts, when someone we love changes, or their presence in our life changes, we feel it everywhere, in the chest, in the breath, in the way an ordinary morning can carry a different quality before you've even remembered why. It's not weakness. This is what it feels like to actually love someone. This is the body's way of saying, hey, this matters. Yes, my father is still here. Changed, yes. Not always the person I grew up with, which is okay, but he's here. And I've been discovering something in my visits with him. When I stop reaching for who he was and simply meet who he is right now, something opens. The love doesn't diminish, it changes shape. It becomes less about what we used to share and more about the simple, luminous fact of just being together in this room on a particular afternoon, alive, both of us, gifting each other presence. I suspect I'm not the only one going through things like this. I suspect many of you are holding on to something like this, maybe a parent moving through change, maybe a friend whose diagnosis shifted everything. A relationship that has asked you to love differently than you planned. Maybe a breakup. What I want to say is that tenderness, it's not a problem to solve. It's not a sign that something is wrong. In this web where everything is connected, in this web doing what webs do, they tremble when one strand is touched because everything is connected to everything else. What practice keeps returning to me again and again, like a patient teacher, is this. The degree to which I grieve is the degree to which I have loved. These two things are not separate. They are one. And it's not a wound. It's a measure of a life well loved. And the Zen teaching of impermanence, the teaching that resonates with me, and perhaps with you too, is impermanence. Impermanence is not the enemy to connection. It's the context that makes connection so precious. The impermanence. Gotta value it while it's here. Drink it in, soak it up, sop it up with a biscuit. Be fully in it. We don't love things because they last. We love them because they are here, now, alive, in this moment. A flower is not less beautiful because it fades. If anything, the fading part is part of the beauty. It's part of the magnificence, the transience of the loveliness. The transience and the loveliness are inseparable. They are connected. The image I find myself returning to over and over again is injury is net, infinite web stretching in every direction. And at every single node of this web, a jewel. And every single jewel reflects every other jewel perfectly. The whole net is alive in each one, in each jewel. Each one containing the whole. We are the jewels, reflecting the whole, reflecting back at us. Not isolated points, straining towards each other across a gap. One living, luminous web. And we're already inside of it. We were never outside of it. The separation we feel is a real experience, but that's not the final truth. I like what Dogen says about this. Dogen wrote, "To study the self is to forget the self. When we are truly present with another being, when we are really listening, when we're really there, not half somewhere else, not on our phones, not thinking what we have to do, the self that was doing the listening, really listening, that self steps back. It's not gone. It's just no longer at the center. What remains is presence, meeting presence." That's the Zen meaning of not to. And it's available to us in any moment of genuine connection. The Zen meaning of not to. I can be uniquely myself and be part of the whole. But when connection changes, when someone dies or when illness changes them, or the relationship shifts in a way that maybe we didn't choose, the teaching is not to detach. It's not to love less or to hold back or to prepare ourselves by going numb. The teaching is to be fully present with what is actually here, showing up to grief fully when grief is here, to love fully when love is here, to not choose between them, but to be fully alive in both of them. That willingness to be moved by life rather than defend against it is not fragility. It's one of the bravest, most awake things we can do as humans. And as in all things, there's both lightness and darkness. And I often find myself landing in the middle of everything difficult. In all these things, truly in all things, there's light and there's dark, not as opposites, not as a problem to be solved, but as the nature of things. The Japanese have a word that I think is really cool. And it talks about the bittersweet awareness of impermanence. The feeling that arises when something is beautiful and also passing at the same time, like the flower, like love, like cherry blossoms, a sunset, a child growing, even a parent aging. The word that they have that represents this bittersweet awareness of impermanence is mono no aware. Mono no aware. That feeling is not sadness, or not only sadness. It's a form of love. It's what it feels like to be fully awake in this life. You know, now when my father and I sit together, I carry both. I carry the joy of being with him, and I also carry a little grief of what's changing. And what I've noticed is that when I stop trying to resolve that tension, when I stop pushing away either the joy or the grief, stop trying to, have him remember, anything really at this point. When I stop trying to do that, something opens. The moment becomes more real, not less. I'm more there. I'm more present. I'm more connected. Just accepting and being fully in what is. Full presence doesn't mean feeling only the good things. It means being willing to feel all of it, to let the beauty in, to let the ache in, and to discover that your heart is large enough and my heart is large enough to carry both without breaking. Or maybe it does break. Maybe it does break a little, and maybe it needed to break open a little bit. Maybe that's what's needed. And I'd like to, as a therapist, I'd like to give you something to bring with you, something experiential. When we vividly imagine someone we love, or when we let the image be specific and warm and real, it can be someone we love. It can be, it can be an animal. It can be, like I love my little waffles, my little service dog. It can be anything. When we vividly imagine people we love, the nervous system responds in a way that's remarkably similar to them actually being there. The vagus nerve, the one that tells your whole body, it's safe, relax, digest, no threat. That system will be activated by the thought of your loved ones, of your connection. The same sense of not being alone, you can bring in with you at any time. You can resource yourself through memories and imagination. This is not bypassing. It's drawing on love that is real, even when that person is not in the room. So let's do this together now. And I'd like to guide you through it, if you'd let me. If you would close your eyes or soften your gaze, take a slow breath, let your body settle. And bring your mind to somebody who has loved you fully, freely, without conditions. Might be a person, might be an animal, might be someone long gone. It doesn't matter. Just allow them to come to you. Make it specific, not a general feeling, a particular moment. See their face. What did they smell like? The way they looked at you. That feeling of being in their presence. Let it be as vivid as you can make it. Notice what happens in the body. Let the warmth be there. Let yourself receive it fully without deflecting. You don't have to earn it. Just let it in. Just let it arrive. And now, from that place of feeling loved and held, let yourself also feel anyone you're worried about, anyone you're concerned about, anyone whose health or life is uncertain, anyone you're missing. Don't push the feeling away. Let it be here too, alongside the warmth. Notice that your heart can hold both. It already is. This visualization, this practice that I just led you through is always available to you in a waiting room, in traffic, and don't close your eyes in traffic, please. At 3 a.m. when you wake up, your cortisol is boosting at 3 a.m. Bring in the connections of loved ones. And remember, you're not alone. You've never been alone. Love that has been real, it continues to live inside you and inside me. It doesn't go anywhere. That love lives. Okay. So in closing, I'd like to leave you with some questions, not to answer, just to kind of live in you as you move throughout your day. What would it mean to love fully? Fully loving, knowing all of this. Knowing that everything changes, that health is uncertain, that people we love will not always be here in the form that we know them. That connection is precious precisely because it's not permanent. What would it mean to stop holding back? To stop keeping just a little in reserve, a little behind the glass, as if a smaller love will hurt less when the time comes. Because here's what I keep finding. The love and the grief are the same thing. The capacity to be devastated, to be brought to my knees by loss. It's just the other face of the capacity to be transformed by this amazing love connection. You cannot protect yourself from one without closing yourself to the other. Suzuki, near the end of his life, said, and I love this, I don't know anything, I don't have any special knowledge, but I do know that everything is connected. That's the whole teaching. We are already inside the net. We have always been inside the net. The jewels reflect each other, whether we know it or not. The only question is whether we're awake to it, whether we let ourselves feel the full weight and beauty of being alive here, now, in this beautiful web of connection with all its light and all its dark. And its extraordinary grace. And in closing, I'll leave you with a little wisdom from the Beatles that says, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make.